You've caught up with us out here along the trail with a Geraldine update. And the update is, not much has changed. The month of January has been the month of sanding, and more sanding. Our son from Boston came down, did some body work for us, and him and Clint spent a whole week just kind of getting all that started. Clint's done a bunch of grinding and Bondo work and sanding and more sanding, and did some more sanding after that. So hopefully the month of February will be a paint month, or at least get her into primer. So our next step is everything's got to get primed. So that's going to depend on the weather and when Clint gets the shop all cleared out and kind of gets a paint booth rigged up in there. So here's a little update on the bodywork. And unfortunately, last time we moved her, we've been driving her back and forth from the garage and the shop. She has been running really well over the last year, no problem, but now we're getting a little smoke and we're getting a little tick. We're hoping that's just from her setting and not getting drove as often as she was. So if Clint gets her all pretty and painted and gets her all beautiful and then her motor blows, we'll deal with it. It's just part of having an old truck, I guess. But let's hope that doesn't happen, because I am ready to get back on the road in this old girl and get to enjoy my truck. So here's our bodywork progress, and hopefully here in the next couple weeks, we can get her all primed up and started painting. So we're gonna try to match this original blue color as much as possible, because I don't think we're going to paint anything in the inside. My goal was to keep her as original as possible. And Clint has a touch of OCD and likes things really perfect. So Geraldine got way more of a makeover than what I had in mind. So we're kind of bickering back and forth what should stay original and what shouldn't. So if Geraldine was your truck, drop us a comment. Would you have kept her how she was? Would you have done all this new panels and body work? And let's talk about the inside, because Clint ripped out my radio and it really kind of ticked me off. But I got over it. At least I told him I'm over it, but I'm really not over it. So this is how she's sitting today. Got her all in pieces. Clint's got her all scuffed up, ready to start primer work. Her tailgate. I love her tailgate. I just do. It's in really good shape. Now the letters were done in white. I don't know if that was original, but I'm assuming it was. I don't know what else it would have been. But anyway, we're gonna put those back in white. Drop me a comment below, what's your favorite Ford color? Definitely, we're gonna stick with the original blue just so we don't have to mess with the interior. And blue is one of my favorite color, you know, Ford blue. If you watched a couple of videos ago, we found her original pinstripes right here. When Clint took the bed off, there was two big, like chunky orange and yellow pinstripes. She had just kind of a spray painted silver going down here. Someone had done that in later years. We think maybe she's been in a wreck or a fender bender at some point in her life and got a new paint job. You can't tell by looking, but her interior is in pretty good shape. We have all the original pieces in a box. I'll get put back together. This door, the passenger door had a panel, tan panel. Driver door had no panel. She did have a radio, but you know, we're not going to talk about that. We'll talk about it, but we're not going to talk about it. Headliner is in really good shape. I just now noticed some dings, some little tears there. I don't know if those were there or we've just accidentally done that while I was working on her. I'm not for sure, but definitely in good enough shape to keep. So we will stay with the tan and blue vibe on the inside. So anyway, that's about it. Let's get caught up on the body work that Clint and Colton did, and we'll just keep hoping that this little ticking and smoking goes away, just magically on its own. I'm sure it will. Say, on this episode of Geraldine.
On this episode on Geraldine. This episode on Geraldine's birthday.
It's Geraldine's birthday?
Uh-huh.
Here, show them why.
Dang, that hurted.
Well, thanks for following along on Geraldene's progress. Make sure to click subscribe because hopefully by the next video, she'll at least be in the primer stage. So January is over. January was sanding and more sanding and sanding. And I know Clint is really happy that January is out of here. Well, it is February. Not only is the Kansas City Chiefs heading to that three-peat Super Bowl, but Geraldene's going to be driving into the paint booth. At least let's hope so. So February will be primer. March will be paint. April will be putting all of her pieces back together. And hopefully by May, me and Geraldene will be hitting the highway. Let's see if we can pull it off. But in the meantime, I've got to hunt me down a new radio. The radio we're not talking about.